Hi, I'm Dr. Ellen Fiel, a private practitioner in rheumatology. In 2017, the FDA issued draft guidance on interchangeability. The guidance document provides the agency's recommendations for biosimilar manufacturers seeking to obtain an interchangeable designation for a biosimilar. It's important to understand what is meant by the term interchangeable as it pertains to biosimilars. Interchangeability is a designation granted by the FDA that indicates a biosimilar can be expected to produce the same clinical results as its reference product in any given patient. In other words, the biosimilar and its reference product can be switched without impacting safety or efficacy. To receive an interchangeable designation, a biosimilar must meet additional standards beyond those that were required for its approval as a biosimilar. An interchangeable biologic product may be substituted for its reference product by a pharmacist without the intervention of a healthcare provider who prescribed the reference product. The rules regarding how substitution occurs and the requirements for notifying the healthcare provider vary on a state-by-state basis. It's important to note that the FDA designation of interchangeability is unique to biosimilars. Generic medications do not have interchangeable designations and therefore do not have to meet any post-approval requirements to be eligible for automatic substitution. Substitution by pharmacists differs from medication switching invoked by physicians. Switching occurs when a prescriber changes medication based on clinical judgment or the requirements of a patient's health plan. When you hear the term switching, you may also hear it mentioned in reference to switching studies. These studies are conducted by biosimilar manufacturers to gather evidence aimed at meeting the additional standards that the FDA requires for interchangeable designations. Generic medications do not require switching studies. According to the FDA, switching studies should be conducted in one or more appropriate conditions of use to demonstrate that alternating between biologic products does not impair safety or efficacy. This can be measured by assessing the effect of switching on clinical pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic measures, because these assessments are typically the most sensitive to detect changes in immunogenicity or exposure. It is important to note that the FDA strongly recommends that biosimilar manufacturers design their switching studies to include a U.S. licensed reference product. Although the FDA suggests considering how the biosimilar will be used in clinical practice when designing switching studies, rules and regulations regarding interchangeability in the real-world clinical practice will continue to develop and evolve. The FDA states that products with a history of detrimental immune responses may require more data to support a demonstration of interchangeability than products that do not. In addition, although post-marketing data alone is not sufficient to support an application for interchangeability, it may provide important real-world safety data, including information on rare but potentially serious adverse events. As I have highlighted for you, the FDA recognizes the uniqueness of biosimilars and requires additional data from switching studies before they will consider a biosimilar for an interchangeable designation. Unlike with small molecule generic drugs, biosimilars may only be substituted by a pharmacist without the intervention of a healthcare provider if that biosimilar has been deemed interchangeable and allowed per state regulations. To date, no biosimilar approved in the United States has been granted the interchangeable designation by the FDA.